Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again, and welcome to another video here at Wild Wind Lacquer. In today's video, we are doing a little miscellaneous haul. I have 3 different purchases that I made, 2 polishes each, and we're going to go ahead and swatch them. The first one that I got is the For the Love of Polish box. I recently resubscribed to that. This was the main cause of it because these polishes were stunning, so can't wait to swatch those. Then I made a small order from, I think it's the Indie Collective, for 2 77 nail lacquers, and then I did a small Victorian varnish when they did a restock. And as I have been doing with my swatches, I've picked a few colors to try each of these polishes over as sort of an experimental layering. So first off, let's go ahead and do the first one in the duo For the Love of Polish box, and this is Polished for Days All Witches Fly. This is a really beautiful green leaning teal. There are silver holographic flakes. There's that beautiful shifting shimmer that you can see there, a pinky red to green to gold. I think I can even see some orange in there at certain angles. This one is stunning. Yeah, there's that orange. Oh, so pretty. So the colors that I chose to put this one over, the first one I picked is sort of matching the base color. This is Orly's In Full Plume. The second color I decided to try it over is a little LA Colors. This one is called Splashy. Obviously not the same color, but I thought it would be interesting to see how it would look over a lighter shade. So here's our first coat of All Witches Fly on its own. Yeah, that is a beautiful polish. Very nice squishy jelly there. It's still pretty pigmented though for being a jelly. So let's go ahead and see it in one coat over In Full Plume. And yeah, that basically matches it quite nicely. In the bottle, I feel like it's a little bit darker. So one coat over In Full Plume is a really nice match. Yeah, that looks really good. All right, let's go ahead and see if putting this over a lighter color does anything. And yeah, I think it does. It gives a little bit of a boost in opacity, but we are still getting a lighter tone to come through because it is over a light blue. Oops. As opposed to, oh, now I just made it worse. No! As opposed to over that darker shade. And yeah, sorry, that one coat is going to be awful. I'm starting to mess with the base color. I don't think it would have been that dark if I hadn't started to mess with it, but I can definitely tell a difference between how it looks over In Full Plume versus over Splashy. Obviously Splashy is a lighter shade, but because we are layering this over it, it still is going to be darker than it was originally as the light blue. But right there, I think is a little bit closer to what it would look like with a thin layer over it. Just a good example of why you don't mess around too much with polish as far as layering, because I think I was starting to take off the under layer of that polish. But yeah, very pretty. Let's go ahead and see a second coat of All Witches Fly. I'm loving this combination. Of course, you'll hear me say it all the time. I love flakies and I love shimmer. No matter what kind of flakies, I like the iridescent flakies, but I especially love these hollow flakes. So that is absolutely gorgeous. So I would say of the 2 that I tried, I actually prefer it over In Full Plume, but I think the closest, at least in 2 coats on its own, is the one coat over LA Colors Splashy. See how it's a little bit lighter? And In Full Plume definitely deepens it, but I like that. So that I think is a really good way of wearing it, especially if we're wanting that deeper shade. So let's see how opaque we can get it with a third coat. My second coat there was pretty thin. So there's 3 coats. And yeah, that's definitely getting deeper like that one coat over In Full Plume was. But as I often say with layering videos, is you're still going to get a bit of a different look when you're layering it in 3 coats on its own versus 1 coat over another color. They're not going to be like heads and tails vastly different most of the time, but you do get that pinch of a squish factor when it's layered up in a jelly base versus over a cream. You're also going to get more of those flakes layered up over each other with that jelly base, so you're going to get a different look. But again, it's especially with a dark color like this, not going to be the most drastic difference. In fact, on your screen, they probably look identical. That was an utterly gorgeous polish from Polished for Days, All Witches Fly. And then the next polish from the For the Love of Polish box for March is Howl's Moving Castle from the brand Polish. This is definitely one of the reasons why I decided to sign up for this box. The swatches of this with the shifts looked utterly gorgeous. So this one is kind of this blue with a purple hint. Like in person, I'm seeing a lot more purple around the edges. And then of course it's got that stunning larger particled shimmer in it. I'm seeing sort of a mix between a green and gold at the face. I feel like on camera it's showing up a pinch more predominantly gold than it is for me from my angle. And then there are shifts to blue and aqua. This is a stunning polish. So what I picked for the layering for this polish is a dark blue from Orly. This one is sort of trying to match the blue that I was seeing in the base, and this one is Blue Tango. And then we're going to try it over one of the same polishes that I used for the Polished for Days, LA Colors Splashy. So again, not close at all, but again, wanting to see how it looks over a lighter shade. So here's one coat, and look at that. It is actually more purple. I should have swatched this beforehand. Oh my goodness, yeah, I was seeing so much more of a blue in the bottle. But I guess we'll just see how it looks over the two shades of blue and see how big of a difference that makes with it layered up over itself with that squishy purple base, not blue. Oh goodness. But yeah, that is very pretty. Well, let's go ahead and see it over one coat of that blue, Orly's Blue Tango. Ooh. Yeah, that is stunning. Obviously makes for a bluer base. That's more how I was picturing it, but yeah, gorgeous over that blue. So let's go ahead and see what a difference we get over that light blue from LA Colors. Oh my. Oh my. Wow. Wow. Okay, so here's the color of that blue base, and you can definitely see the purple with one coat of that layered over that light blue splashy. Wow, I really like that. Wow, that's my favorite so far because you do get that purple. Obviously, being a purple fan, purple is one of my favorites. Actually, it is the favorite color family. But yeah, that is utterly gorgeous over that light blue. Let's see it built up in two coats. Yeah, the purple, and this was a nice surprise. I say surprise, like I said, I did see the swatches, but it wasn't, obviously didn't stick in my mind that it was a purple, just that it was a beautiful shifting shimmer. And in a second coat there, we are starting to see more of that purple base. It is squishy. So we're going to get three very different looks, I get the feeling, because I don't see a third coat getting as bright as it was over splashy. I really like that combo. I might have to do that next on my manicure, or at least on one hand. I've been enjoying wearing two polishes at the same time at least. So right now I'm wearing KBShimmer's Get Off My Tail and Mooncat Polish Portrait of an Introvert. These are two polishes that I haven't even hauled yet, but as I was opening up some boxes to just sort of check on everything being okay in the package, I had to put these on. They were just too gorgeous. But let's go ahead and build up a third coat of that polish. But yeah, this one might have to go on one of my hands next. But there we have three coats of that polish. That was Howl's Moving Castle. Yeah, that is a beauty. So we are definitely getting three very different looks. You can still see that purple base in Howl's Moving Castle built up on its own. Actually incredibly happy, like I keep saying, that that is a purple. And then putting that over Blue Tango, that Orly cream, obviously gives us a much bluer and more vibrant punch of a color. And there we have it over LA Colors Splashy in just one coat. That is just a stunning combination. I mean, as much as I really did enjoy that Polish for Days, this one from Polish has to be my winner for this duo. That is utterly gorgeous. So that was Polish Howl's Moving Castle. So that was the For the Love of Polish box for March. Now we're getting into the indie collective polishes that I got. I got 2 from 77 Nail Lacquer. The first one is this one called Lavin Blue, and this is another bar glitter polish from her. So if you saw my D-stash video, you got to see a lot of polish from this brand that is in my collection, and I have a lot of bar glitters from her. They do seem to be one of those components that people either love or hate, but I really like how they look on the nail. They look like little fireworks. And this is a stunning juicy shade of purple with these silver holographic bar glitters and a gorgeous larger particled shifting shimmer. You're seeing a beautiful bright red, and then towards the edges of the bottle you see orange and gold. I think if there is a green in here, it's a little bit shyer. It's more towards the edges of the bottle, but you can see that red, gold, and orange very nicely against this purple base. The colors that I chose to put this one over, I chose a dark purple from Orly. This is on the edge. Now this is that color of dark purple that actually ends up looking a bit bluer on the nail. So there it is. It always surprises me because I keep thinking it's going to be this rich, dark purple, but it has more of a blue tone. And then the other color that I chose is a lighter lavender, and this one is Provence at Dusk. So for this one, not necessarily matching the base, but just, again, seeing how it looks over a lighter shade. So here's one coat of Lavin Blue. Love, love, love some purples with some hollow. And of course that red shimmer. This was one that I saw swatches of all over Facebook and Instagram, and it definitely caught my eye. I did make sure that I didn't have anything too close to it before I purchased it though. So let's go ahead and see it over on the edge. I think that's going to be a nice match for that purple tone. Yeah, that is beautiful. Now again, especially with this bar glitter type of a polish, you're going to get a very different look when it's layered up over itself. Again, I know I keep saying it, but it's really true in this instance, especially because in one coat, you're only going to get one layer of those bar glitters. Whereas as you'll see, when you're layering it up over itself, you're going to get a lot more of those bar glitters for a more firework galaxy look. But it does look beautiful in one coat over on the edge. And then let's see how it looks over that lavender. Provence at Dusk. Ooh. Oh my. Wow. I love that. Holy moly. Obviously it is way lighter, but look at that juiciness. Whew. That is gorgeous. I really like all three so far. Obviously, we need to build up Lavin Blue on its own. That polish over that light lavender is stunning. Whew. Here's a second coat. Such a juicy base. So there's 2 coats. Obviously, we still have our darkest shade, being the one there in the middle, layered up over on the edge. But look at that beautiful way that the hollow bar glitters are layering up over each other. Ooh, that, yeah, I love those. And here is a third coat. There we go, 3 coats all on its own. 1 coat over on the edge and 1 coat over Provence at Dusk. 3 very different looks, although I will say the lighter tone that we're getting over Provence at Dusk is a little bit closer, but when it's layered up over itself, it's definitely more of a richer tone of purple. You get more of that lavender base to Provence at Dusk. Wow, yeah, all 3 of these are very, very pretty. So here's kind of a close-up of that layered up bar glitters. You get more of a scattered effect in just the 1 coat. So that first one from the Indie Collective from 77 Nail Lacquer was Lavin Blue. Then the next one that I got is another purple with those hollow bar glitters. This one is Cold Shoulder Chic. I believe this one came out earlier, either this year or maybe even late 2023. And It is very similar in description, but here's just a side-by-side comparison. So Lavin Blue is on the left, Cold Shoulder's on the right. Cold Shoulder is a deeper shade of purple, more like a royal purple, whereas by comparison, Lavin Blue does have that sort of a blue lean in the base, more of a cool tone. They, of course, both have those hollow bar glitters, and they both do have a shifting shimmer. And actually on that, I can't quite tell if it's the same shimmer or if there is a difference, because I am seeing a difference, but the base color can have a lot of impact on how the shimmer looks. But yeah, right there, I'm thinking that the one in Cold Shoulder is larger. You see the larger particled speckled look? By comparison, it's more smooth in Lavin Blue. And I am definitely seeing a green shift in Cold Shoulder and more of a gold shift. I know you're seeing gold over here, but to my eyes, that gold in Lavin Blue is a little bit more orange leaning, a bit more warm, where it's more like a straight up yellow gold in Cold Shoulder. But yeah, another purple, I know. All right, so for this one, I did pick a darker color. I chose Orly's Feeling Foxy. Obviously, it's not matching the color exactly, but I wanted to see how deep of a color we could get this. And then we are going to try it over one of the same colors that we tried Lavin Blue over, and that was Orly's Provence at Dusk. So again, trying it over a lighter shade to see what impact it has. So here's one coat of Cold Shoulder. And yeah, this is a juicy, juicy, warm purple. That is gorgeous. So in one coat, it's actually looking kind of similar to how Lavin Blue looked over on the edge. It's got that juicy tone to it. And then let's go ahead and see it over one coat over Feeling Foxy. This is obviously going to add a deep, deep base to this color. And yeah, that looks gorgeous. A very vampy layering there. You can see all of the particles quite nicely. And then let's go ahead and see over Provence at Dusk. Now this is going to be very different because this is a richer pigmented base, I feel, than Lavin Blue was. And obviously, again, Lavin Blue had that blue tint to it, that blue lean, more of a cool tone purple. So yeah, very, very different base there. So here's just a comparison of Cold Shoulder Chic over Provence at Dusk versus one coat of Lavin Blue over the same color. Big, big difference there in the base. So here's a second coat of Cold Shoulder Chic. And this one actually might be opaque enough for some people to wear this in just 2 coats. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people would be just fine with 2 coats, especially if you have shorter nails. So in this instance, we are getting less of a different trio versus Lavin Blue. I think for Cold Shoulder, the 2 coats of it are closer to how it looks in one coat again over that Provence at Dusk. Actually very close. I was going to say there's a difference, but no, in person, they're virtually identical. 2 coats on its own versus 1 coat over Provence at Dusk is definitely a very, very close match there. And then, of course, the 1 coat over Feeling Foxy are almost black, like charcoal blackened purple. It's a very interesting color. Gives us a much darker color there. I would say for myself, I prefer it layered up on itself in 2 coats because, again, you're going to get more of those hollow bar glitters layered up to create fireworks on the nail. Just so pretty. And there's just a little comparison again of Lavin Blue with Cold Shoulder Chic. So that last one from the Indie Collective was Cold Shoulder Chic. Now we're moving on to the 2 polishes that I got from Victorian Varnish. They did a mini restock in March, and they had this particular polish here called Kaleidoscope that I definitely wanted to grab. And then they did have some overpours from, actually I don't remember what that was for, Holiday 2023, I guess. This is another brand where I feel like I have been sleeping on them, and I feel like when I do that and then I go back to their website, I'm finding all of these goodies that I really want. So this is another brand where I am going to be trying to pay more attention to what they are releasing. I know I did share their release for April, which is that Bunny Quad, and they do have a cog of the month or a polish of the month every single month. So that's one of the things that I do feel like I've missed out on without shopping them on a regular basis. Now, I will say for my haul today, there is a mix-up that I'm going to address before we get into the swatches. It has already been corrected. The maker has already sent me a new bottle, but the bottles that I have in front of me are going to look very, very close. So I got Kaleidoscope, which was here. It was part of the Optical Illusion Duo, and they created a cousin to it. I think that's what they were calling it, a cousin or a sibling, something along those lines, in their holiday for 2023 that has the same shimmer, but it was supposed to be in a purple base. And as you can see here, they are very, very close. There's a subtle difference, and we'll see that here swatched, but it's not purple. So somehow there was a mix-up in the bottles. Again, the maker has already fixed it. She's sent me another bottle of Visions of Prismatic Sugar Plums, which is the one that is supposed to be purple. But just wanted to put that out there before we get into the swatches. These are going to swatch very, very similarly. All right, so that first one is Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscopic, sorry. This is one that I was very, very happy to see restocked because, like I said, I had been sort of sleeping on the brand, and this is one that I definitely wanted to get my hands on. So this one has a beautiful like aqua blue base, and then it has a stunning larger particled shimmer. I'm seeing like this peridot green leaning into gold. There's orange and red. There are a lot of shifts in this, and as you've heard me say time and time again, I love myself a good large particled shimmer. So the colors that I chose to put this one over is a blue from Orly called Off the Grid, a mid-tone blue, and then I decided to try it over a minty green from OPI, and this is I'm Yacht Leaving. So for this one, obviously it's not going to match the base, but I wanted to see how it would look over that shade. So here's one coat of Kaleidoscopic. Love the brushes from this brand as well. You've got that kind of a shorter brush, but it is flat and wide if I can get my camera to focus on it. There we go. And I think they're clear. Yeah, I was trying to look at that. I'm like, why does this look different? It's because the bristles are clear. I love that. All right, so here we have one coat of Kaleidoscopic. Love the shimmer. Let's go ahead and see it over Off the Grid, I think. Totally forgetting what it is already. But here it is over that mid-tone blue. That is gorgeous. Ooh. Kind of reminiscent of, what was that ethereal that came out in Polish Pickup a few years ago? I think it was like Superposition. That's what that's sort of reminding me of with that beautiful, almost cerulean blue base. Wow, that actually really amps up the blue because in the bottle it's sort of dusty, at least in person it is. I really like that combo. All right, let's go ahead and see it over I'm Yacht Leaving from OPI. Ooh. So obviously we're still going to get a lot of that mint come through nicely. On camera, I feel like it's turning it a bit more of an aqua shade, but in person it's definitely still a minty green. So that looks beautiful. And as you can see, I mean, we're seeing those base colors coming through beautifully, if not a little bit amplified by the polish that we're layering over it. So this should work over basically anything. So anything you wanted to add this shimmer to would work beautifully. So here's a second coat of Kaleidoscopic. So far it is closer obviously to that lighter minty shade. But again, I feel like on camera, the mint is sort of getting washed out into an aqua, like a turquoisey aqua, but it is a minty green. And there in the base, it is maybe a pinch less blue than it was in the bottle, but it is that gorgeous aqua tone that you can see around the edges. See that bluer tone around the edge, but it's so jam-packed full of that amazing shifting shimmer that that's mostly what you're seeing. Again, love, love, love this shimmer. And I do feel like this is one that some people might be okay with in just 2 coats. It just sort of depends on your nail length, your application, and if you don't mind a pinch of light coming through. Not necessarily visible nail line per se, but like if you were to be in direct sunlight, you might still see that your nails aren't opaque, if that makes any sense. When I wear it, I'm probably just going to stick to the 2 coats unless I really want a layer again of more shimmer. But let's go ahead and just see how it looks in 3 coats. And yeah, I don't think it's really changing the color overall. Maybe a pinch. Yeah, maybe you can see the blue a little bit more easily, whereas before we were kind of looking at it around the edges. Now it's a little easier to tell that it is that beautiful aqua blue. So there it is in 3 coats on its own, 1 coat over Off the Grid, which I love that combo, and 1 coat over I'm Yacht Leaving from OPI. So that first one from Victorian Varnish was Kaleidoscopic. And here is the next one. This is the one that is an Oops of Visions of Prismatic Sugar Plums. So I say it's an Oops of Visions of Sugar Plums, but it might be more accurate to say that it might be a mislabeled Oops of Kaleidoscopic, because there is no purple in it. And as I mentioned earlier, Visions of Sugar Plums is supposed to have a beautiful purple base. So this one might be a mislabeled oopsie batch of a darker version of Kaleidoscopic. So it's going to have the exact same shimmer particles in it, just a slightly different blue base. I think there you can kind of see what I mean. It's a pinch darker than Kaleidoscopic, which is on the left. On the right is that oopsie polish. But I mean, again, that shifting shimmer is glorious. All right, so before I contacted the maker, I was trying to see if maybe it was just my eyes that had expected more purple. So when I was getting my swatch wheel ready, I decided, well, what if I try this over kind of a purple? So I decided to try it over this one from Orly. This is Kaleidoscope Eyes, sort of a pinky leaning purple. So I wanted to see if that might change how the polish presents, make it a little bit more purple. And then we are going to try it over that same OPI, I'm Yacht Leaving, and just see how it looks over that as well. So here's 1 coat of our oopsie polish. And I do have them swatched over here side by side, so it's easier to see the comparison. But again, obviously it is the same shimmer. So in this one, it's got a bit of a darker tone in the base, just a pinch of a darker blue. And then here is 1 coat of it over Kaleidoscope Eyes. And yeah, over this you can definitely tell as I'm putting it over the lilac shade that it is a blue base. But look at that. Wow. I love that. Whew. So it does amp up a pinch of a purple tone to it, obviously by comparison, but it's not like a purple, it's more like a cornflower blue with that barest pinch of a purple lean. And obviously you have a very big difference in the base color because you can hardly see Kaleidoscope Eyes through it, but it creates a gorgeous color. Wow, yeah, that is very pretty. And then let's see it over our minty shade, I'm Yacht Leaving. I'm basically expecting this to look rather close to how Kaleidoscopic looked over the same color. I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me or what, but I feel like I do kind of see a very, very subtle difference. But again, this was OPI's I'm Yacht Leaving with Kaleidoscopic over it, and then 1 coat of the oopsie polish over the same polish, I'm Yacht Leaving. So let's go ahead and see about building up our oopsie polish in 2 coats. So there's 2 coats. And I know, again, it's kind of hard to see the difference when they're a few spaces apart, but we do have them swatched over here. We'll take a look at those here in a second. I would say this is another instance where it is somewhere between a 2 and 3 coater. And then here they are side by side. I forgot to notate how many coats I used, but I want to say I probably did 3. So here's on the left Kaleidoscopic, on the right the oopsie polish. So there you can see the difference in tone. It's got that deeper blue in that oops, more of a brighter aqua in Kaleidoscopic. But yeah, that shimmer, you guys, whoo doggies, that is so pretty. So yeah, like I said, the maker is already remedied this. She has already sent me a replacement bottle of Visions of Prismatic Sugar Plum, so I can't wait to see that one. In any case, there we have it. That was my little miscellaneous haul. We had the For the Love of Polish for March, the Indie Collective, which I got 2 from 77 Nail Lacquer, and Victorian Varnish. Let me know which ones were your favorites down below, and as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me and looking at beautiful polish. Hopefully you enjoyed some of our layerings. Definitely let me know which ones were your favorite combos down below, and as always, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in that next one.